took the kids fishing the other day, and the whole time we were fishing, we didn't catch anything. I don't even think we had one bite. 2 to 3 hours out there, nothing. But even though it was a pretty unsuccessful fishing trip, I still think it was a pretty good time being there with the kids. I enjoyed being with them. It was just me and the 3 kids. We let Michelle have some time at the house where there wasn't anyone, needing anything from her or wanting something from her. She could just have some peace. And the kids and I got outside and just had a good time doing that. Now, to be honest with you, I had a hard time justifying in my mind spending time doing that. And here's why, before you think I'm a terrible father. It was a Thursday afternoon. It wasn't Saturday. It wasn't after church on a Sunday. It was a Thursday afternoon. And that's in the meat of the week. By Thursday afternoon, I'm feeling the pressures of Sunday, and I've got a whole list in my mind of things that I want to do, that I need to do, and things I feel like I ought to be doing. And fishing wasn't really a part of that. But looking back on that time, I'm glad I spent it that way. Which makes me think of a verse we looked at from Ephesians chapter 5, verse 16. We talked about this the last Sunday that we were all gathered together on Facebook Live. Paul uses this phrase in Ephesians 5:16, redeem the time, which is another way of saying buy back the time. And that's an important thing to think about, because we all have this constant list in front of us, these constant pressures on our time. We have this constant list of things that we want to do, we need to do, and all of the stuff that we feel like we ought to be doing. And all of that can eat up and steal our time. But when Paul uses that phrase, redeem the time, he means get it back. Don't let all the pressures and all the things in your mind determine how you spend your time. Because the hard reality is, we only have so much of it. There's only so many hours in the day. There's only so many days in the week. And all of us only have so much time here. So to redeem the time, and another way to put that means make the most of it. So maybe something that can kind of help us navigate life when there are so many demands on our time is that phrase. How can I redeem the time today? How can I make the most of whatever time that I have? And what a powerful prayer to start your day, or a prayer to stick in even as you go throughout your day. Lord, as I get this day started, how can I make the most of this time for you? Maybe it's lunchtime. I've got half a day left, God. How can I make the most of this time? I want to redeem this time and use it for good. There's another great verse I love in John chapter 21. It's somewhere about verse 3 or so, where the disciple Peter says, I'm going fishing. He spent time fishing, and that was a good use of time for him. He was used to that. I'm glad I went fishing too. It was a great way to use the time that I had with my kids. And looking back on it, I'm glad I spent it that way. We're in a pandemic right now, and time is kind of a funny thing. But I pray that however your schedule looks right now, whatever the demands are, the wants, the needs, and the oughts that are loud in our minds, that you would be able to stop and pull back and let that verse from Scripture come to your mind and think about, how can I redeem the time that I have today? How can I make the most of this time? Because if you do that, it'll give you peace, it'll give you joy, and it'll give you the ability to look back and be glad that you spent the time that you had the way you did. I pray you would redeem the time and make the most of it, even in this season.